For the culture.
Back at it again, it's the For the Culture podcast. I go by the name Exotic Rose, my co-host Mitch. Then we have a special guest today, Hotep Jesus.
Hotep.
Sorry about that. Hotep. Hotep Jesus.
Oh, yes.
So how's everything, man?
Life is treating me very well. I'm very busy, very focused, setting new goals, just trying to achieve them, I'm hard on myself, I learned something and it's just like, all right, what's next to learn, right? So you saw the hoodie, Shut Up and Code. It's all about the tech world right now. I got a meeting with another AI company tomorrow. I have an AI company I'm working with right now, Wazo AI, and just trying to own the future. Like instead of being a victim of the future, I'm trying to own the future. I'm trying to be right on the pulse of where technology is going, or as closest to it as possible.
Okay, and then you're like co-founders in a lot of tech companies right now, right?
Yeah, I got a couple of tech companies. Jiffitize, that's the Twitter companion. Allows you to save GIFs and videos from Twitter. That's with the founder is Simone. Simone has a podcast. She's an entrepreneur, a business mentor, so on and so forth. You'll see her on Twitter under the name Capital B's. Real thought-provoking sister, focused, successful, worked overseas. But yeah, me and her are working on that project. Then I have Coinbase app. That was started by Maher and Youssef. And those brothers started this project. Funny story is, I used to work for 50, and we were in the consumer packaged goods industry. And after that, I launched a brand with Carmelo Anthony. Again, consumer packaged goods, CPG. So it was a coconut water was the one with Carmelo, and then with 50, we did an energy drink. And I noticed that things were just a lot slower than I wanted them to be, So, you'd have to wait to get the design. Design goes to warehouse prints. I'm skipping a lot of steps here, but warehouse prints the product. You get the sample, you got to approve the sample. Then they say, all right, go ahead, put this through the run. And you put that through the run. And you put it out in the market after you sell to the market. And like 3 months has already passed and you still don't know if people like the product, right? Or like the changes that you've made. So you're waiting on that feedback, which is another. So, it took like a year to find out if what you're doing is great. And what I really love was the power of digital marketing or selling digital items where I can see almost instantly if something is working or not, right? I put the Facebook ads on. Once the thing is loaded up, I can see, are we getting downloads? And are those downloads leading to dollars all within the same 24 hours? And I kind of knew this space was going digital. And I was talking to a lot of investors and new startup founders. And these startup founders didn't get the mobile app space. You go look at, what the iPhone app store is worth today. It's in the billions, the type of revenue that they do through that store. But nobody got it to work with this company called Inbox. WhatsApp, just way more dynamic. You could draw. It was crazy. It was super dope. And I wanted to work with them in their marketing department. I'm a marketer. So I didn't get the job, right? And I was like, well, why didn't I get the job? But I was thinking back to my second interview, which is with the tech guy, and he was asking me these questions. And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're talking a whole nother language. So I went back and I studied for the next year, worked with dozens of startups and mobile apps and, digital properties and companies. And then I ran across the same guy from Inbox who, previously I didn't get the job. And we got to talking, and he had a new project, which was CoinBitsApp.com. It's a Bitcoin app, automatic investing. So we got to talking, and I done bossed up. My level of knowledge is bossed up. So I ended up becoming a co-founder in that company, So it's kind of like that, tribulation to triumph type thing, where you didn't get the job the first day, but then, years later, you end up becoming a co-founder, with the same guy that said, you weren't qualified for a job, just because you decided to put the work in and make yourself better. And then I have the AI company, Wazo, and we do camera vision. So anything a camera can see, we can analyze. And we're doing a lot of testing on heat mapping inside stores. And I don't want to reveal too much on that project, but we're working on being able to detect people by age, gender,
Oh, wow.
we can identify types of clothing, different types of animals, different types of objects. This person has a gun or has a knife, so on and so forth. So that's a really fun project. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really crazy, bro. You all in the tech space world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where you from and how did you get into it? What made you say I want to get into the tech world? Because you was with 50 in a whole different like atmosphere, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up around tech. My brother is a NJIT graduate. He was a coder. My pops always kept the state-of-the-art computer in the household. I'm not a trust fund baby, but I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. My father's an immigrant, came here from Jamaica. Him and my mother struggled, but eventually they got it. Luckily they got it right around the age where I needed it. So they bossed up. They were both six-figure earners. So I lived a really good lifestyle. So I always had the latest shit, if it was clothing, whatever it was, I had it. So, I was always around computers. I built my first website in 1996. I had a printing business straight off that same computer with a DJ in our school, DJ Rip Rat. Shout out to DJ Rip Rat. I did his first business cards for his business, designed the logo and everything. I was on there, hacking into AOL, 96, 97, 98, just to be messing around in the chat rooms and forums and the different aliases. We were messing with IRC, ICQ, MIRC. I was putting viruses on my friends' computers and controlling them remotely. I was
Oh my
just,
God.
that's crazy. Yeah, like I was really in that world. Matter of fact, the very first Grand Theft Auto, I tell you, we played in 1998. It was a top-down view, and you played like with your keyboard. You might have seen screenshots of that before. Yeah, but you had to we hacked that to get a copy of that. It was like you had to download that. But yeah, I was always into tech, and then I kind of got away from it because I got into the recording industry, and we had a lot of success with my artists at a very young age. And I was like 20 with a record label, and we was doing things with, I don't want to name names, but we like to keep it local. So we was with Tretch, Joe Button. I'm from Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So we were my man's, Val. Shout out to Val. Val's from North. I'm from North. But his people was in touch with some peoples, and we got into my artists into a movie. We did some things in New York, bunch of shows, great music. I was putting my marketing expertise in that arena. And plus, at the same time, I was a mortgage broker. I was selling mortgages. So I got a lot of sales experience from selling mortgages. But I always it was like I was doing mortgages, but I'd be the tech guy in the office. They'd be like, yo, B, the printer broke. You think you can take a look at that? Like, no doubt. Can you install this software? No doubt. I got you. I was always that kid that was good with computers. So it never left me, when MySpace was popping, we had that thing moving. I bought a bot. Actually, I think I jacked the bot for free. And basically the bot was adding friends within certain zip codes. Back then you could add people by zip code. And you were searching people by zip code. So we were taking over zip code by zip code on MySpace. And then, Twitter came about. I was a touring artist. Me and my man Demic, he's super successful now too. And I had kids, so I kind of left the music alone. I was like, I'll be honest, I got lazy. And plus I had did everything I wanted to do. We toured, I know what it was like to be in front of a crowd screaming your name, so it was like, there's nothing else left for me in this lane. I know what it was like to be a hot artist. I know what it's like to sign autographs after your show. We did Six Flags. That was an amazing show. So
I thought you was gonna say you had to step back because you had kids. Because I had a kid too, and I kind of because I'm in the event world where I throw events like comedy shows and stuff. So I had a son, and I had to step back for a little bit because when you first had a kid, especially if I was my first kid, so I had to take a step back, take care of the family first, and then get things rolling after that.
Yeah, well, for me it was I didn't want my kids to grow up and want to be like their daddy. And be like, oh, I should rap. I wanted to do something different. So once I broke into the game with 50 Cent, and I was, regional marketing director as a consultant for a startup, an incubation startup, I was an office guy, so going to, I remember I'm making good money now, right? and working for 50. And plus I had my thing on the side. So everything was bubbling for me. I had my own blog on the side. So being an artist, I was broke. So it was like, why would I do that? And I already got my bread right, you know? And then once I got into the tech space, it was just like, it was over. But, you know, even when I was at the incubator, you know, I would say things like, yo, we should do something with 50 with like a mobile app. And everybody was like, you know, but it was so young, you know, nobody got it. Like it was so young that nobody in the office had a Twitter account. I was the only one in the office with a Twitter account. You feel me? Wow, so like I was always like way ahead. This is like 2011, 2012. I got my account in 2009. So, you know, nobody was really like thinking forward, thinking ahead. And I was always like, well, where's the game going to be at 10 years from now? Because that's why I want to set up shop. So when everybody catch up, I'm the man already. So that's why everybody see me in tech. You know, like I was talking to young Pharaoh last night. He was like, I want to get into tech. I'm like, let me know. I didn't park my car here 3 years ago. Hop in.
I ain't gonna lie. I was just about to tell you that. I was just about to tell you that because I always been interested in like technology, and as you can see, technology is the future.
Yeah.
So I was just about to ask you that after this. Let's see if you can give me some pointers, like how do I get into that world?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people dive into digital marketing as you see a lot of people today say, I do digital marketing. I think when you don't know anything about digital marketing, it's like this big, like crazy thing, right? Mm-hmm. But after you learn it, you realize how like basic it is. But I don't know, maybe that's just how a lot of things are in life after you learn them. But, you know, digital marketing is basically being able to track your spend or track your efforts. You know, if I do this, how many clicks do I get now? So everybody's familiar with impressions now, right? You look at your Instagram, everybody sees impressions, right? Everybody sees clicks, you know. So then there's like other metrics beyond that, like what's the cost per conversion, right? And that's like, how much does it cost me to convert somebody into a download? You know, hopefully I'm trying to keep it below $2 a download. You know, maybe it's $5 a download, you know, but finding out what that number is for your business and then consistently trying to lower that number. And you can do that using, you know, various tools like Google Analytics or Adjust or something like that.
Out of all three, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, who do you think is the best for what do you think is the best for marketing?
It depends on how much money you got. It depends on how many resources you got. So you might be solo dolo with no dough, right? Or you might be solo dolo with mad dough.
With dough, yeah.
So I might tell you, well, hire this person to do this and hire this person to do that. And then you focus on this, you know, if you got dough. If you don't got no dough, then it's like, all right, we got to come all the way back to your product. What's your product, right? I mean, marketing, a lot of people think marketing is what you do after the product is released. And it's just not true. Marketing is the actual product itself. So you always want to have or shape the best product and know the demographic and know the demographic wants your product and what makes and bringing them into the process of making your product better. You know, so it's all about like what they call product market fit. You know what I mean? Hold on, I'm getting my tea real fast. I don't want to spill it. It's hot. Yeah. So, you know, you want to find, you know, product market fit. But it's harder when you don't have a budget, right? So now we have to do some of the things. We have to talk about what you're going to do organically, right? And then it depends on what type of business you know. If you're in clothing, you know, I'm going to be like, yo, stick to Instagram and Facebook. You can rock on Twitter, but it probably makes sense to stick to Instagram and Facebook because those are more visual platforms. Twitter is all about the 280 characters. You can do this, you know, I would venture off in telling people, yo, maybe you want to stick with Twitter. But I know I got a bot right here, right now, or I could jack into Instagram and pump your account. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, depending on whatever graphic you got, just tell me your competitors. I'll pop them in there and we'll troll them all day. I got the hack software. You know what I mean? So with Twitter, you can't hack like that. You know, you can, but you run the high risk of getting suspended. So I don't even touch hacking Twitter. You know, the days of hacking Twitter are over. So, you know, Instagram, I'm like, you know, I'll plug you into the bot and get you that jump start, because the thing is with Instagram is you got to beat that algorithm. With Facebook, you got to beat that algorithm. Twitter, the algorithm is subjective based upon how the person has their user settings set up. So if they have their timeline in chronological order, then you good money. They're going to see your posts. On Instagram, your friends might not never see your post because you never beat the algorithm. So you got to beat the algorithm down. So, I can show you ways to beat the algorithm down. And really pump the clothing line. But again, some of that stuff goes back to understand digital marketing, because somebody might not buy right away. So it's like, how do I capture that person, right? Do I capture them via SMS or email? And then I can remarket to them. You know what I mean? Running contests. You can get people's email address. Say, hey, we're giving away, one of our shirts. Sign up for this email list, right? At least, these people...
I think people are sleeping on that email list. A lot of people don't have an email list.
I think
amateurs don't have email lists.
Yeah.
You talk to an amateur, you be like, yo, ask him, you got an email list? Nah, you dealing with an amateur. I went and worked with, 300.
300 Entertainment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a meeting with 300, and they wanted me to work on their one of their rock bands. And the first thing they said to me is like, can you pump up our email list? And I'm like, well, I'm glad y'all know, but that's how you gain fans, right? It's like, how do you pump the email list?
Mm-hmm.
And because, here's the difference between social media and everything else. Social media is where people go to escape, right? Email is where people go to make decisions. I think Ben Settle said this, because I want to quote people when I steal their shit. I believe it's Ben Settle or Dan Kennedy. Social media is where people go get distracted. Email list is where people go make decisions. When they open that email, it's just you and them. When it's social media, it's you and everybody else. You compete with everybody else. But email, once they open that email, you got their full attention. Now you got to hold it while they reading the email and hopefully get them to commit to an action. So email is where the juice at. I don't have to promote my book. All I got to do is, or any of my products, all I got to do is promote my email list. And then when you get on my email list, I have a drip sequence, and it drips you everything over the course of time, automatically. I never even have to do anything. I just have to set it up first place. And this is the benefits of understanding digital marketing. And also I deal in copywriting. So there's a certain way you got to write your copy, I got a class I do every Saturday. It's $99 a month. And I'm not trying to be plugging products. I'm plugging it because if I don't let people know about this, they're going to be mad when the price go up to a G. But it's a Saturday class. We got a lot of successful people in there. I got one dude in there. When he first started working with me, his first 18 months, he made $100K. In the past 1.5 months, he made another $100K. And this is through Twitter marketing.
Wow.
He's got a great product. He teaches people how to use eBay. He's killing it. You know what I mean? But I do this class every Saturday between 11:30 and 1:30, and I run over on time. Sometimes we go to 2:30. I'm like, whatever. I know y'all paid for 1:30, but I want to make sure I'm helping people. So people are coming in, and I'm literally walking people through. Like, here's what you do this week. You know what I mean? They do that task. We meet up on the next Saturday. It's like, how things go. We measure. We look at the analytics. Cool. Here's the next step, and we slowly building companies like that. And that's the best way to get access to me.
Is it you said class, never mind. I was about to ask you if it's a one-on-one thing, but you said it's a class, so it's like a group of people.
It would take too much time to do one-on-one. I did one-on-one for so many years that it drained so much of my time. And the thing is, it didn't have that accountability, right? It's different when you're in the class and you there with a bunch of other grown folks, men and women who have business and real experience, and you say you're going to do something, and you come back the next Saturday, they're going to be like, did such and such do something, right? Or
yeah.
That? Or
you held yourself accountable.
Yeah, there's that accountability. But also, the great part is it's so many different expertise. Like, I got one dude, he's out in Asia, and he's got his own digital marketing agency. So sometimes he's just like, getting clients just from the class because he's able to help people, and people are volunteering information. So I'll answer a question, and you'll get like 2 more responses from other people like, hey, this is how this goes. And so you get in a think tank every Saturday behind your business. It's like an amazing thing. You can learn
from everybody else. Yeah, you can learn from different people, and you can network. That's great.
It's the networking is crazy. We had a girl come in last week. She's about to graduate with her PhD. She has a dissertation that's going to be needs to have like 100 sources. She's got 200 sources. It's a 500 dissertation. She's got 400 pages already. It's a Black woman. And she's about about to take her 500-page dissertation, distill it down to a few hundred pages, and then it's about, you know, Black business. She's doing her dissertation on Black business. Then she's going to sell this information. And then there's another girl in our chat from Canada, a Muslim sister, and she runs a Black business organization. Like it's a directory, so you can list your Black business, so on and so forth. And they consult specifically Black businesses at like slash prices. I asked her, I said, yo, y'all giving this service away to the Black community? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how do y'all make money? And she showed me there's a whole nother side of the business where this is more catered towards people who have the budget, but they're using that side of the business to fund the other side of the business. So they're getting like people in Africa are able to launch a website for like $20 a month, like built for you. You know what I mean? Hosted and everything, you know, unlimited traffic because they already paid the AWS fee. So she's offering a service so she can plug this book right into the afrobizworld.com. And then she's off to the races. So that's the great thing is that, you know, people are networking in that group. I got one dude in there. I ain't gonna say his name because, you know, people's identities need to be confidential. But he works and does music composition for video games. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking like Spider-Man, PS4, like, you know what I mean? And and God of War. Like he's done some like real big titles. So the people in the group is just amazing, man.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, my brother actually does that. He does video game design, and he code, but he can do anything. Like he was working on the Oculus Rift over at UCLA to do surgeries and so forth. So yeah, and right now he's doing something else. They scrapped that program. I think there's a little bit more to it. Funny part is that he was supposed to have a meeting with Mark Zuckerberg, and he was actually training people to kind of do what he does, but they were making it seem like it was a big department when it was really only him doing all of the coding. And it's funny how all of a sudden they scrapped it after he taught a few people.
They scrapped him.
Kind of weird.
That's how they do us Black men in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley want to, you know, push this image out about diversity, but truth be told, like, you know what was funny, man, when I got into the industry and I started moving up the ranks and I started seeing the players. Like one time we went for Hot 97. We were going to sponsor Hot 97 Summer Jam. So all of the big like VPs and marketing execs is there, like Pepsi, McDonald's, Monster. Yo, it was like a family reunion because 80% of the people in charge was Black.
Oh wow!
Wow, yeah,
or Hispanic. So it was like you thinking like this marketing department. You thinking it's white folks. You ever see a commercial? You be like, damn, like this was for us. Yeah, a Black person created that commercial.
Yeah, I never put two and two together. Now, you just like hit like a ding ding in my head right now.
Yeah, go look at who run Nike. It's a Black brother run Nike. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, or Converse. My bad. He might be up at Nike too. I can't remember, you know, but it's a lot of us that's calling these marketing shots. And Antoine Fuqua, somebody who used to do movies, Antoine Fuqua, I don't know if he stopped doing movies. I don't want to say he stopped because I don't know, but he do commercials because, you know, 1.5 mil to shoot for a couple of weeks. And I'm on to the next commercial as opposed to a feature film where you shooting, you know, you might shoot for a whole year, 6 months. And you don't know what the box office is going to do. This commercial money is legit, you know. So we are definitely making a lot of decisions. It's just how do we secure those positions once we get them, you know?
Yeah, and that's crazy.
That's interesting. He just put us on.
I wanted to get into 4th of July. What's your thoughts on that? Because I've seen a lot of people on social media talking about the story behind 4th of July.
4th of July is a lie. It speaks of independence. Who is the United States independent of? Allegedly, the UK. But how come when there's a royal wedding, it's blasted all over our TV screens like it's the most important thing? The whole country shut down for the royal wedding. We talking about who's that girl? Megan and whoever her husband is with the
Prince Harry, I think his name is.
Yeah, all of that. Why is that dominant in news? Go look at the treaty about how the jurisdiction that the Queen has over some land over here. Right? But that's but when they say the United States is in debt to who?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So there's a lot of, and then it's like, what is America? Right? Like, what is America? America is the United States of America. United States of America is a corporation. So really, when you say you're a citizen, you're an employee. You're an employee of this corporation. That's why we pay into it, right? You're a slave to this system. Now, there's a lot of people who have this patriotism, and patriotism's simply a religion. So when it comes to religion, I respect everybody's religion. So if you have some sort of patriotism towards the United States, then go ahead, my brother. Do you? Don't get mad at me when I don't, because of how I view the world and how I view the history of this nation. This nation, before the Bill of Rights was formed, was 13 sovereign entities, 13 sovereign colonies. Then they united them. The unification of these states was the first step towards communism. You know that it's hardly a crown you can find with power throughout European history that wasn't funded by a banker. The crown in many of these countries throughout European history, this is going to be in my book. Got a book coming soon. Doing a lot of research for it now. But these kings and queens have been funded by banks for centuries. Yeah. So when you say independent from who? Independent from what? When we look at, I believe it was called the first U.S. National Bank, basically took out a loan to go to war. Finished the war, what we do, we paid back the debt, got rid of that conscription, got rid of that note, those bonds. Then we had another world war. The bankers pushed us into another world war. And then we had the second U.S. National Bank, and they tried to put us in debt again. We paid that thing off. Mm. Matter of fact, Russia helped us pay off the first debt. Mm. Russia, a lot of people don't know this, Russia was the ally of the North. The South was allied with the UK and France. They had it surrounded. And it was Russia that supplied ships. It was Russia that supplied arms. And that's why we bought Alaska from them, to pay off that debt. And people wonder, why was Alaska used to be a Russian territory? It was a Russian territory because we took it from them to partly repay some of that debt for helping us through that first Civil War. The Civil War is what I'm talking about, right? North and South. So, the history of America has to be put in context before you start celebrating holidays or holy days. That's why I said we're dealing with a religion. So you have to be very funny about who you talk to, because, when there are these, USA flag carrying people, you're dealing with a religious sect of some sort. And it's like talking about their God. So I'm very careful, and I don't want to disrespect anybody's God, the flag and, Uncle Sam. But as I illustrate in my book, Uncle Sam has never been kind to any American, regardless of skin color. So when people say, 4th of July, I'm like, yo, did y'all forget the Whiskey Rebellion? Did y'all forget it's a Colorado massacre? Man,
Colorado massacre?
Type in Colorado massacre. I'm drawing a blank right now. Usually I could recall that one. Basically what happened is, while you pull it up, I'm going to tell you the story. Basically what happened is they had, I believe, coal miners. Coal miners like, yo, like the living conditions and the working conditions are terrible. We want fair wage. And the corporate entity.
Ludlow massacre?
The Ludlow Massacre. Thank you.
Ludlow Massacre.
The Ludlow Massacre.
1914, April 20.
There you go, right there. So the Ludlow Massacre, he said to him, well, if you don't work for these wages, we ain't gonna give you no housing. White folks said, you know what, you can keep your housing. The housing wasn't worth shit nowhere. We gonna go live up in the mountains. They went to go live up in the mountains. The corporation called in the National Guard and the Pinkertons. Pinkertons is like a private security organization. One of the first forms of police. You see them in Red Dead Redemption, the video game. So they called them down, and what happened? They killed them folks, men, women, and children. This is the United States National Guard did to white folks in America. So when people are celebrating this government, I mean, how many times does the government try to take away your rights? They try to take away your right to drink. They lock people up for marijuana, right? Like, when has the government been good for people? So when people celebrate the 4th of July, I'm like, what are you celebrating? The only thing that you're celebrating is luxury. You're toasting champagne to the victor of a war. Let's say you're a Black American. You say you live under a system of white supremacy. If you celebrate the 4th of July, you're celebrating the victory of so-called white supremacy, because everything that we have is as a result of killing somebody else somewhere else. Whether we killing somebody over some oil to stabilize the United States dollar, right? Whether we're killing somebody or forcing people in a civil war over cobalt to put inside our cell phones. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So what are we celebrating? It's like you celebrating living like a king, but it was at the expense of another man's life. I can't sit here and say, I'm proud to be an American. I'm happy and I'm American. I'm afforded that I was here and not, like South America somewhere, right? I'm happy that I'm lucky to be here, but I'm not happy it was at the expense of other poor people, like the people in South America of brown skin that we call Black people are literally oppressed because of, like, we think we got it bad here. Man, they living under oppression because that was the first place to get colonized. When De Las Casas came over here on these Spanish boats, they was murdering Black people in South America. Like, Argentina practices ethnic cleansing. They got something like a 97% white race in Argentina. So, when you're talking about racism in America, you don't want to see racism down there. Down there, your nickname Blackie, right? Like that, it's they're in like 1952 into some of these countries, but it's at the expense of our luxury. So I can't celebrate our luxury until all human beings across the globe can celebrate luxury.
Yeah, I'll be watching shows and movies, and when I be seeing what be going on in like Iraq and like the Middle Eastern places, the areas, I'll be like, damn, this is kind of like, I feel bad, bro, because it's like, what are we doing over there still?
Your tax dollars pay for that. We work to pay for that. We literally work to oppress another nation. When we look at Nike, those Black women working in Nike factory? When Nike had their factories in what I can't recall the Asian country, because they got factories everywhere and they hop from one to one. But when they had the sweatshops, they had hidden video camera footage. I think it's called Behind the Swoosh is the name of the documentary.
Behind the Swoosh.
Yeah, I believe that's the name of the documentary. But when you look, you see Black Asian women in these sweatshops. So Black women is the ones that's stitching up. I burnt my Nikes as a protest because when I found out, like, I'm celebrating wearing these Jordans, like, yo, I'm the man. But some Black woman was oppressed over these shits. Nah, like, Nike can't have a monopoly over my body. They can't. I refuse to let Nike have a monopoly over the Black community.
So I don't wear Nikes at all no more.
I don't wear Nike at all.
Now, I gotta watch it.
Nike's not the only country, right? But if I say to Black people, yo, y'all keep talking about the system of white supremacy, let's boycott Nike, niggas will look at you crazy. Black people got more loyalty to that swoosh than they do their own race. Now,
didn't they do something like that before? Like they did a boycott for Nike, but it didn't last?
Where is this happening? Somebody attempted it, right?
Yeah.
But it was never adopted, right? Like Nike owns the black community. They literally own the black community.
And then you got Michael Jordan. He never donated, but this is for he finally donated for the Black Lives Matter cause.
It don't matter what Michael Jordan do. Michael Jordan's not the enemy. Michael Jordan's one of us. Michael Jordan's supposed to take that check. Somebody black gotta get a check off the man, right? Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with Jordan getting his check. It's on the consumer. You see, when we talk about economics, it's something called supply and demand, right? Uh-huh. If there's no demand, you got to decrease your supply, or your supply decreases in value. So if you don't like Nike, you don't go after Jordan. You don't go after Nike. You go after yourself, and you decrease the demand. Now Nike is gonna have to say, "Yo, hold up, why y'all stop buying my shit?" And like, "Yo, you ain't doing nothing for us. You ain't built no schools. You ain't invested in our businesses. So why are we investing in you, right?" And then Nike would come with the excuse, "Well, we invest in youth sports programs." Yeah, you invest in youth sports programs so they can grow up, and then you could turn them into a cow that you brand with your swoosh, right? Mm-hmm. They're gonna brand your black ass. So yeah, they want you to get good because they know they're gonna be able to put that swoosh on your ass, and no matter where you go, you're gonna represent their brand. But why black people ain't supporting the black brand? What is the black brand? Where are the black brands? You know, why don't we have our own sneaker? If we're the number one consumer of sneakers, how don't we have our own sneakers? Like, that's not Nike fault. That's not Jordan fault. That's our fault. We got to divest from all these brands and completely own this. Every time we try to do it, niggas got jokes. When Stephon Marbury did it, niggas had jokes. When Shaq tried to do it, niggas had jokes. You know, everybody had jokes. And it's just like, nah, we need to just support just to support. Like Balenciaga dropped them ugly ass shoes and niggas is buying them shits. Yeah. Niggas got on fucking platform sneakers, platform shoes, right? Back in the 70s, you had a high heel on your boot, right? With platform shoes. We done took it back to Goldie times and niggas walking around in platform shoes, right? Why we ain't owning that shit though? Why we ain't owning that? And that's why I don't even like having conversations with the black community, because the black community want to look at everything but ourselves. The center of power comes from introspection. You know, when we look at the story of Caesar, I think it's one of the best stories to be told. But you talking about somebody that went from riches to rags back to riches. You know, his parents was part of that noble class, and for whatever reason, you know, they fell out of power. He had to start back over and work his way up through the military ranks. He became the first emperor of Rome, right? But he don't do that blaming the people that moved his parents out of power. He doing that by working on himself. We got to work on ourselves. When you look at Italians, right? Or let's talk about the Irish. When the Irish was oppressed in this country, the Irish was looked down upon worse than the Negro. There was a lot of publications that said Irish was worse than the Negro. They called them dirtier. Well, how did Irish, and they weren't even allowed to be considered white. So how did the Irish go from that to being considered white? Well, the first thing they did was they started up these things called fire stations. And these fire stations used to allegedly put out fires, but a lot of times, or some of the times, they would start fires. Like, oh, you fucking with us? All right, we're gonna burn your shit down. Or they acted as security. So the first thing they did was start with their security. And then they started taking over. Like at one point you had Philadelphia precinct was run by Irish, and they all hired Irish. Like there's a lot of power in nepotism. And when you start talking nepotism, everybody want to talk that kumbaya diversity shit. And that's where y'all lose me. So that's why I just be like, you know what? Let me shut up and code. You know, let me shut up and code because y'all lost.
I do notice that trend as far as with like you see it everywhere. Like it's everybody, like you said, everybody's talking about diversity, but they do hire their own. It's all everywhere, all the time.
Yeah.
I know my mother, she was doing statistics for Siemens, the company, and not just there. She would just do there's a lot of other stuff. She used to work for Lockheed Martin, but I'm not gonna get into that. But she noticed that a lot of the Indian culture, they would come here and then they would go back home.
Yeah, they send their money back home.
Bring them back. Yeah, bring them here. And then if they end up in the managerial position, then get them the job there. It's like a lot of things that, to be honest, we should be doing, you know? And that's how they make it to that level all the time.
You gotta focus on yourself, as my homie Nerd Nash would say. You gotta focus on yourself. That's where the power is.
So you don't think this Blackout Tuesday or Blackout date they're trying to do, you don't think that's going to last? They're trying to make sure that no white corporation gets the black dollar, pretty much. I think that's their goal.
Don't they do that like every 4 years or every year, something like that? And it is a complete and utter failure. You can't. Yeah. First of all, the rules of marketing say you got to be specific. You got to have a target. You can't just say, yo, don't spend no money with white people. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. If I need some toilet paper, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get some fucking toilet paper. And I might buy if I need some food, I might just fucking go to Olive Garden and eat Olive Garden, even though the white man owns Olive Garden. That's not it. You got to select a target. Like you, Nike, we ain't fucking with you no more. Who want next? Right? That's power. So you make the rest of the companies go, hold up, we don't want to be next. They going to be calling you like, yo, who we got to broker a deal with? Jay-Z, we got to broker a deal? NFL, Jay-Z, real quick, let's broker this deal. We don't want no problems, right? You got to select your targets. That's why I worked with the NFL, because niggas selected their targets. I don't agree with the execution, but again, it's still too early to tell. But we got to select our targets. If it's Blackout Tuesday, call them motherfuckers out. Say we ain't doing Walmart, we ain't doing Nike, we ain't doing Target. We ain't fucking with y'all. We ain't doing Popeyes. Whatever it is, it's got to be more specific. But again, this is still deflecting from what's really going to help us. What's really going to help us is focusing on ourselves. Instead of saying Blackout Tuesday, stop buying white, it needs to be Blackout Tuesday, buy black. Then it needs to be buy black every day.
I agree.
To remove the white man from your mind completely, as Lauryn Hill would say.
That goes back to the whole Black Lives Movement too. I heard somebody say this too, that they feel like what's going on with the riots and the Black Lives Movement, there's not no goal. There's not a leader. It's like a headless horse going on. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Black Lives Matter is one of the best Trojan horse ever pulled off by the white man. Black Lives Matter is a Trojan horse. You see, when you create a black movement for black people, you don't get media coverage. You don't get support. Every single popular black movement is popular because it had cooperation with the establishment. Black Lives Matter is in cooperation with the oligarch. It is a ruse.
I'm gonna get to somewhere on that too, but go ahead. Yeah, I got something.
Preach.
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't want to interrupt you, man. No, I respect.
Well, it's as simple as this. If we talking black power, let's talk black power. Don't start talking about LGBT and, you know, in order to lose focus, you got to divide your time. That's what distraction is, right? Distraction is the division of your time. To focus is to concentrate your efforts, your time, and energy. If we focus on black people and you make them put respect on your blackness, you won't have to make them put respect on your gayness. Now, I know a lot of gay people. My company, my old blog, was run by gay men. One of them I called my nephew, Denzel. Called him my nephew. Love him to death. I love him to death. He called me a day, need $100. I sent it to him. Has nothing to do with that. But these people that I've worked with aren't out here talking about, oh, I'm oppressed. They like, I ain't never had no problem with nobody. Nobody bugging with me. This is a very individualistic thing. You may have some people who message you, you know, because they have what they call homophobia or whatever. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist. But the foremost problem in the world is anti-blackness, not anti-gayness. You see, anti-gayness is a hate on your behavior, right? You want to be treated based upon how you behave. To the black struggle is about being humanized. We want to be recognized as human beings. We don't want to be treated as lesser than. So our struggles is completely different. Also, LGBT movement ain't out here moving for us. And if they is, it's control opposition. But go ahead. You got the floor, my brother.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right, man. Like the thing that I was, as far as with Black Lives Matter, man, I think that's a bunch of crap because if we can't even do it ourselves, we can't even stop black on black crime. Like, how are we gonna stop everyone else? And we can't do it ourselves. Like, just these past few weeks, there's like over 100 people got shot in Chicago, and you got another one in New York just recently, just happened 6 years. That's crazy. And it's not only that, as far as what you're saying with like, the organization and so forth. From what I'm seeing, and I saw my son say this, I kind of shouldn't have said the name, but somebody else said this, and it's true because he was saying we can police ourselves. We can police ourselves. He's like, I got $1 billion for the community to do this. Like you said, they're in cahoots with the oligarch. How are you getting that money? $1 billion? Who's giving you that money to have us police ourselves? That means he's a part of something bigger. You know what I'm saying?
The best way to defeat your enemy is to control your enemy. Yeah. And the best way to control your enemy is to make sure your enemy believes he's in control.
That's true.
As long as black people think they are in control of Black Lives Matter, the people who really control it ain't got nothing to worry about. It's when people find out it's control opposition is when they're going to have to change up and do something different, But again, you cannot divide your time. We don't have time to take on every individual's battle. Some people are oppressed because we got dreadlocks. I literally can't get some jobs unless I cut my hair. When we go into the court system and we up for parole or something like that, or we're going up for trial, let's say I have my dreads like this and I'm up for murder. Your attorney's going to say, cut your hair so you can look a certain way because of how this is perceived. Now, am I going to take on a new battle to change the perception of this? Yes and no. See, I'm not taking the battle and saying, yo, I'm out here representing for dreadheads. I just wear my dreadheads and represent. Wear your gay flag and just represent. We don't need to say, yo, da-da-da-da. It's based upon what can you do? How much power you got. And when people see me, they like, yo, you in tech. It's like, oh, yeah, you can wear your dreads in tech. We do this. This is how we rock. We wear hoodies and dreads, and still can rock in tech. So that's how I break the stereotype. But I would never go to the black community and say, hey, look, what are we going to do about the dreadhead situation? It's like, damn, now we got to take some of our resources and some of our time to tackle a whole new problem, which is a minority of us, right?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand when, I forgot who it was, but they're like, what are we going to do about the LGBT community, the minorities? And I'm like, you're black, so why don't we just all come together and fix that one problem?
Yeah, you gotta prioritize.
Yeah, and I mean, with that, as far as the gay community, and I know people that got offended when I said this, but I think it's just a gateway to open doors for pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? It's they give them rights, and then everyone else is gonna be like, okay, so what about us? We're giving them rights, like what about? And it just keeps on going. It's gonna keep on going and going and going, and people don't understand.
You start going down that Epstein trail.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know if you wanted to bring that topic up.
I mean, I'm not afraid to talk about it. Pedophilia is a serious problem. Exactly. A lot of people are sick. They prey on young girls. Not to take anything away from the males, but we got to understand that when we deal with the origins of sex trafficking, especially in America, was run by women. And that's why you see this girl Ghislaine come down, because who better to talk to a woman than a woman? So I fear for girls that are pushed into just the sex trafficking lane, period, whether it's OnlyFans, pornography, all of that. If you're selling sex, no matter what form it is, it's all sex trafficking, and you had something on Pornhub where Pornhub was monetizing underage girl videos. Like, this is like sicko shit. You know what I mean? And I believe some of these girls were like trafficked, like literally trafficked, like had a pimp and all of that and forced to do these videos. So it's like a sick individuals on this planet. I was talking about this last night when on Pharaoh. A lot of sick individuals. I don't want to talk about the implications of the gay community and pedophilia, what I do want to say is Dr. Umar Johnson and his specifically out of his mouth is that when he's dealing with a lesbian, a gay person, a child, many times, they've often been abused as a child. They've been sexually abused as a child. And he's drawing a correlation between the two. I can't say for certain because I haven't looked at the numbers or the studies or, whatever. But I think that that's something that needs to be looked at. When we look at the church touching on little boys, right? Like this is man-boy love. When we look at the history of Greece, in Greece, if two grown men were seen together, that was considered homosexuality. But if a man took a boy in bed, that was grooming him. So like, this sicko shit goes way back, But I think there may be a correlation between, when you look at some of the people who are associated with the LGBT movement, you see NAMBLA, right? National Association for Man Boy Love or whatever it's called, right?
Big question mark.
Yes. I'm saying, like, what's going on?
There's a lot of.
But again, like, whatever they want to do, I got gay family. I'm sure we all do. And I can't remember not once in my life, can I remember a gay person being treated unfairly. Not saying it doesn't happen, but we had gay dudes in high school and we was just like, oh, he gay. He hung out with the girls and it was just that. Like, nigga, we was trying to get to the girls. He wasn't even mad at you. Like, like we knew you was gay, and if you was around and we was all kicking jokes, you was kicking jokes. We was just kicking jokes together. We wasn't thinking about what you was attracted to. So I don't know where people get this notion of that black men are homophobic. I really don't think that's true at all. I think black men love black women, and that's really what we focused on.
Yeah, but I seen men. I'm not gonna just say black. I see men have a homophobic towards gay people.
Like how?
And usually it's because they're probably gay themselves, like undercover.
Well, how does it manifest?
So I've seen times where a guy be like, I don't even want to be around that guy. He's gay, or I don't want him to touch me, or like I had somebody on. We had an episode one time, and I had somebody else on, my old co-host, and he was like, the girl asked him, "Would you hug a gay person if he was just like crying or mad?" It's like, I would as long as he don't try to make a move on me. And then she was like, why is that even in your head? Like, why do you even process? Like, you can't just give a person a hug.
Nah. We ain't gonna do all that. You know what I mean? It's got to be a good reason. You know what I mean? Like, your homie had to die or something like that. Like you lost your job. Like, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, you'll give that person a hug, right? If somebody died or something.
I ain't hugging no man, period. But is he gay? It's definitely like I ain't gonna lie, I got a little bit of that. I tell you a story, right? I was driving home one day, and we used to fight at my house, right? We used to wrestle and we used to box. And we was driving home one day, and my best friend played a joke on me. He was like, yo, while we was riding home from the mall and shit, picking up girls, he was like, yo, I'm gay. And I freaked out. I was like, yo, pull over, let me out, yo. I gotta I needed
I would have said the same thing.
Like we was wrestling. Like you gotta tell me shit like that before I put my hands on you. You know what I mean? So he was like, nah, I'm playing. It's a joke. I'm like, you don't play like that, bro. That shit ain't funny. Well, come to find out, our friend in the back, who we never wrestled or anything like that, but our friend in the back was gay, and I guess he was trying to see how I would react so he could tell me my mans was gay. Years later, I found out my mans was gay. I'm like, damn. Like now, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you still the homie. Like, I still love you the same. Like, we still gonna kick it and all of that. You know, I'm not gonna look at you different, but I had shock the first time my friend was like, yo, I'm gay. I'm like, nigga, what? And I'm like, all right, let me out, yo. Like, I have some of that. So when people get that, I can't say it's a strange reaction, you know, because
some people are killing them though. You know, you didn't hear the stories like in the past, like people kill some people because if you say gay, they think it's like an abomination or something. Some people look at it like that, like they like anti, like don't mess with that at all.
Yo, you go to Saudi Arabia, some of these Muslim countries, they throw your ass off the roof ASAP. As soon as they
that's what I'm saying. There's people have like that's their religion, that's their culture. They don't mess with that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's extreme, you know, and I think it's wrong. I'm not a violent person, you know, so I don't believe violence is the answer for a lot of shit, you know. I'm like, I can outthink us out of this situation. We ain't got to whoop his ass. I'll show you how to make him hang himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think we should even like have that animosity. Like, for example, I remember I worked with this gay dude. His name was Italo, right? And I used to joke around. He'd be like, hey, boo, because he walked around like a girl. And he used to look at me. At first, he ain't like it, right? After a while, I'd be like, hey, bitch. I used to say shit like that. And then we just joke around, you know? But, like, he never came on to me, and I damn sure wasn't going to come on to him. We just had that, you know, mutual understanding. But I've been around gay people, and I kick it and I joke with them, you know? But, like, I personally don't care. I can't speak on nobody else, but I think it's toxic when you're thinking about shit like that.
Yeah, it is toxic.
Exactly. I was going to ask you a question a little bit earlier about, like, the coding and so forth, because I know a lot of people that, I don't know a lot of people that are into it, but I notice a lot of people that are into coding, they know about the dark web, the black web, and so forth. Is that something that you can't talk about, or that's something that
the dark web is public information. Everybody needs to know about it. There's nothing to be afraid of. Does illegal activity happen on the dark web? Yes. Illegal activity happens on the regular web. It's no different. It's just a separate protocol. Right?
You can still track everything though, right? On the dark web? I heard you could. Well, people think they can't, but I heard you could.
Well, here's the thing. If you're not set up, you can be tracked anywhere when you log onto a computer, right? Yeah. You have something called an IP address.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't set up your VPN properly, it doesn't matter if you use the dark web or the regular web. I can track you, right? It's not about going on the dark web to not be tracked. It's about how you set yourself up to go on the dark web, because the dark web doesn't have certain security measures in that the regular web has in place. So when you go on there, niggas might be sniffing you when you come to this website, you know? Like the people who have run that website might be sniffing you. The people you interact with might be sniffing you. Sniffing you is like grabbing your information digitally, right?
Yeah.
So you want that on the regular web. You want to have, you know, your cybersecurity in place. And I think that's just good practice overall. But, you know, the dark web is a place that people need to occupy too. There's nothing wrong with it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's another topic I wanted to bring up. I think we're all aware. Kanye West just said he's going to be running for president.
Yeah.
So what are everybody's thoughts on that?
Vote yay. I think I don't know what he's up to, but he's up to something. Maybe he's trying to pull votes away from Biden.
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be some type of division. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, maybe he trolling. Maybe he just trying to see, right? Here's the thing. A lot of people don't know about politics is, right? The first time you run for politics, you don't run for politics thinking you're going to win, right? It's very rarely somebody runs their first time and wins, right? You got to really be put in place. Like, you got to have all your shit in order to, you know, win some of these districts. The first time you run is to get through all the kinks and cracks on, you know, how your campaign is going to run, what to tweak. It's to get experience. And a lot of people run just to get experience. They'll run 2, 3, 4 times. You got some people that run just so they can campaign and get their name out there, you know? So, you know, a person's motives for running isn't always because they think they could win. I think Kanye has a winner's attitude. He's probably running because he thinks he could win.
I don't think anybody's qualified, to be honest. You know, just with Biden and so forth, I think Biden's going to be the president. And it's just the way, like, the money moves and, like, the type of – because, you know, I do foreign exchange, too, and you can kind of predict, like, what's happening, what they're going to say. From what I'm seeing, I see crypto is taking over. They already passed, like, under our nose. So and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, how does that coincide with presidency? I'm like, okay, so crypto's coming into play and the recession is going to happen. Well, it's already happening, but that's going to pick up during the recession, like just right now. Like coronavirus is already causing the recession. Now, who do they always blame the recession on? It's always the Democrats. So it's like not even about, oh, I vote for this person, that person. It's who they want in there. Like the last recession, who was right after? That was Obama. And Obama came in, tried to, you know what I'm saying? Try to have that face and try to fix it. But it's always I noticed after the Republicans start the recession, then the Democrat goes in. I'm saying, for me, Biden's going to be president. Point blank, period. I know everybody
so you think the recession is coming now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because I see what's happening. Especially it's perfect how they did it now. It was supposed to happen 2 years ago. But from what I'm seeing with the coronavirus, and then there's going to be a second wave, they say. But I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to. We don't have to get into that right now. But like I see what they're doing behind the scenes. Like Steve Mnuchin, he's I think he was one of the CEOs of Coinbase. You know about Steve Mnuchin, right? Or he was Secretary for the Treasury. I'm sorry. He met up with one of the heads of the Federal Reserve, and they just passed cross-border payments for XRP. So they know what they're doing. While everybody's doing BLM and all this other stuff, they're passing this stuff under our nose. And they keep saying it's a level playing field. The only reason why they're saying it's going to be another level playing field as far as with finances is because they're just putting it out there, and it's for us to find out. And that's what they call a level playing field to me. Because they're going to be like, the information is there, you just didn't look it up. It's fair because you should have looked it up, and then you would be in a better position. So that's how I see like the money. And somebody who trades Forex really, really good, he told me you can predict the news. You can predict what's going to happen before it happens. But yeah, and I'm starting to see that now. Yeah.
I think Trump 4 more years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Why do you think Trump 4 more years, though? Why? What's your reason behind it?
He makes money for America. He makes money for media. I think about how boring this country would be if Trump wasn't in office anymore.
It'd be a typical, president, pretty much, yeah.
It'd be boring. The country would be boring. The media wouldn't be able to monetize anymore. You know, we got to understand that people that monetize the media run this country, right? So when you look at after Trump's elected, the media doubled their viewership. I mean, everybody is podcasting now because of Trump. If you started podcasting after 2016, thank Trump. Here's why. Because all these topics that the media throws before us, you have to jump in and get it on a conversation. Otherwise, your voice won't be heard. But these conversations wouldn't be happening if we had some regular Joe. Last dude you want in there is Pence. Pence is sharp. I believe Pence is running the show. I don't think Donald Trump runs the show. I think Pence runs the show, and Trump gets to say so, at the end of the day, because he's president. His pen's going on the paper. But I think
that's the first I heard that.
But if you go watch like Pence speak, right? Trump comes out, Trump does Trump. And then, matter of fact, who ran the COVID commission? Pence. Pence was in charge of the COVID commission. Pence is running this shit. Pence is he's the competent one, right? And he got that talk, that presidential talk that everybody says Trump doesn't have. The last thing you want is to do with presidential talk, because he got the slickest tongue in the nation. And Pence got a slick tongue. He's like Obama, he charismatic. He know how to look like a president, talk like a president. Once you do that, people go, oh, this is boring, and they tune out. So people not even listening. When Trump talk, everybody tune in. What the president got to say? Right? So that's why I said nobody would be having these conversations unless or they wouldn't be happening in abundance unless it was Trump. So I think Trump another 4 years because it's good for America. Everybody eating. If Trump comes out and we get Biden, everything gets boring, and you know your podcast numbers are gonna be slashed in half. Your podcast number is gonna be slashed in half, regardless post-election. Regardless, they're gonna be slashed because a lot of the hype in the media is only there because this is election season. All you gotta do is go look on Google Trends and type in the topics. And the last spike we had was in 2016 because it was election year. And then, you know, and then now we got another election year and we see another spike. You know, you type in racism or white supremacy or any one of these keywords and you'll see the difference pop up. And it spikes in each election year. So after the election year, the shit gonna die down. Then y'all gonna be screaming Black Lives Matter in fucking 2024. And then back around the cycle goes. That's why people this year, people's like, yo, you know, Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, man, I done seen this cycle too many times to be amused, yo.
Yeah, I heard a lot of older people say that. But if you was to tell like a younger person, like your son or something like that, they probably would have been like all pumped up, ready to go, ready to march and everything.
Yeah, because they ain't seen shit. True. Yeah, young bucks ain't never seen nothing. These young kids out here thinking that they seen something that we ain't never seen before. Nigga, I saw Rodney King get his ass whooped on TV by the LAPD. I remember that. I remember the LA riots. My mama remember the North riot. This shit ain't new. You know it was not new? Our tactics in fighting this. So that's why we keep seeing the same cycle over and over again, because we're using antiquated and outdated strategies for a technological generation, for a media-driven generation. That's why I don't even bother with it, man. I don't even bother with the conversation.
Was it for Rodney, was it the same media coverage that's going on now for George Floyd? Or was George Floyd more media coverage?
You got to remember there's no social media, so media coverage can't even be compared.
True.
You know, you got to go look at the clips, go type in Rodney King news coverage and see for yourself. Yeah. I have to go back and look with the mind I have now because I was a kid when I saw that. So my brain interpreting what I'm seeing on the news is completely different than how I would interpret it now, you know. But Rodney King was treated as a victim of police brutality, you know, and he got his day in court and, you know, he got his, you know, he got his just due. He got his justice, which is different from a lot of these other cats who ain't gonna get no justice. Mike Brown and them cops still walking the beat. Trayvon Martin, you know, you seen what happened with George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman, yeah.
Right? So, like, Tamir Rice, them cops are still walking the beat. Like, where we at with it, you know? So, you know, at least somebody got they justice. But, you know, like kids, man, kids don't know shit about life, man. I turned 40 this year, and I'm grateful that I'm in my 40th year because I don't even look at this shit the same way as when I was a kid. Like, and I understand why. Like, I forget who it was. I think Roosevelt said, if you're a kid, you should be a liberal. If you've grown, you should be conservative. Because, you know, kids is, you know, like wanting to save the world is some altruistic, aspirational little kid shit. You know, wanting to take care of your family is some grown shit. You know, and really that's what you need to be doing. You need to stop trying to save the world and save Pookie, save your mama, save your papa. Because that's where you're going to build a strong nation. A strong nation is built from strong families, and strong families are built to strong individuals. So the first thing you got to do is fix your motherfucking self. How you going to march in the street for somebody else, and you can't even take another individual? Let's say you ran across a black woman right now who was homeless, 16, got put out in the street, ran away from home, foster home or something like that. Foster home was raping her. Do you, or 18, can you put her up in a hotel, right? Can you give her a week's worth of clothing, right? And pay for her? And can you set her up with a job, right? Can you get her on the right track? Can you put somebody who's at zero on their feet? No, you can't. If somebody came to me right now and was like, yo, put me on my feet, the most I could do is probably get them a hotel for a couple of nights. I don't have the means to put somebody on their feet. And that's where I'm trying to get to. That's why I said, shut up and code. Let me get this tech money so I could be a billionaire. So if I walk into somebody on the street, I could tell my assistant, yo, put them on their feet. And they know the program. They know the protocol that comes along with that. What put them on their feet means. And that's why I be saying to motherfuckers, like, we need to put them on their feet program. How do you take somebody who's homeless and rehabilitate them and reintroduce them so that they can be productive in society without having to worry about Maslow's hierarchy of needs? It's real hard for somebody to learn skills when they got to do 8 hours at Walmart every day and they got to work 2 jobs. So when do you have time to learn skills when you got to work 2 full-time jobs, 16 hours a day? You work your 16 hours a day, you go to sleep. By the time you get to the weekend, you just want to party. You want to relax. You don't want to be learning more skills. You know what I mean? But who going to take somebody, put them on their feet? For example, how many black kids got to work and do college at the same time?
I'm doing that right now.
That's not fair. You should be so if anybody is asking why these kids are performing at a lower level than the kids who don't, it's because I got to split my time. Now, if I could put you on your feet and say, yo, look, here's rent for all 4 years. Here's money for food all 4 years. If you want anything extra outside of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's on you. You go get a job, you do that on your own, right? But if I could put you up and say, yo, just study, you could excel.
And right? I'll have straight A's. I'll be a scholar.
You could focus like that. You could even, I could say, yo, look, do school, and instead of working this job, I'm going to help you. I'm going to invest in starting your own business while you at school. I'm going to invest in your podcast, right? That's what we need to focus on, man. And we could pool our resources, you know? And what if, you know, your college had a pool where they said, yo, bring your black business. All students that go to this university, right? Bring your black business, sign up on this sheet, tell us your black businesses. Everybody donates a certain amount of money to this fund. And we throw a lottery, we spin the wheel right in front of everybody's face. So it can't be no hidden shit. Nobody's picking out of a bucket. We spin the wheel, right? Or however you do this lottery. You can make it digital, right? And run a digital random selector. And then pick one person a month and y'all get the pool money out of that to pump into your business, right? Like we gotta just pull our own assets and help each other, man, because building businesses is how you rise up. It ain't college. College ain't the way, I'll tell you that right now. It's business. College is for doctors, engineers, and lawyers. If you ain't going for one of them 3, I don't even know why you're going to college. You must be going to college because your parents said so.
That's exactly what I went to school for, because my parents, they programmed that in your head, but they wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, but my heart wasn't in there. So I just went in there, and then I just had to figure out what I wanted to do. So I just went into business.
That's the only reason to go. Your parents from Africa?
They're from Haiti.
See, I knew it. You ain't no American kid. Your parents, you need to listen to your parents. That's the only reason you need to go to college is doctor, engineer, lawyer. Anything else is a waste of time. I'll be honest with you, yo. You need to seriously think about that, yo. Like, if you're not going into one of them hard sciences, you might as well drop out, yo. Because what you going to do, come out and get a job? Like, so you working a job now, then you want to graduate to get another job?
That's how I feel right now. And the only reason why I'm finishing it is because I only have 3 classes left, to be honest, to get my bachelor's.
You done. Yeah, you out of here then.
So it's like I might as well finish it.
So you got to go back for your master's and your PhD.
Exactly.
You got to go all the way. You know what I mean? Exactly. If you're a college student, you got to go all the way. Ain't no, I got my bachelor's degree, because that shit don't mean nothing these days.
No, I don't. It's pretty much like a AA nowadays.
Right. So you need to be taking whatever bachelor's degree you got and going into engineering, law, or some higher science with your master's degree. It better be very targeted. Data science, you know, you need to know exactly what that salary is. When you come out, you know, you guaranteed a job based upon how technology is moving, right? You going to school for accounting, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be disappointed with AI doing your job. Right? You're going to be out of a job and you're going to be like, yo, I'm working at Walmart. Why? You know, like when I worked with Princeton and Harvard graduates. I'm telling you right now, them niggas don't know shit. I was doing their work. When the big bosses left, they was coming to me. They used to line up like, yo, I need help with my project. Who next? This is when I was working with 50. There's an incubator. We worked with 50 and a whole lot of brands, you know? So I was doing everybody work. Like, college don't teach you shit. It's knowing how to do shit and having real skills and experience is going to teach you. So that's why I'm like, yo, if you went through all 4 years of college and you ain't get your business off the ground, you kind of like, you lost a lot of time. You know what I mean? But now it's like, you got to think entrepreneurship. You taking your salary money, That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But how do you not aspiring to get a job? You're aspiring to use a job money for what? To invest in what?
Yourself.
That's what business, right?
Yeah.
What business are you starting that's going to be cash flowing, making money? That's what you want to focus on. What cash flow business do you have? Right? We talk about civil right. You got to follow Carl, civil right. He's got 2 or 3 cash flowing businesses and he got a salary job. So he eating. Like he working his job just because the salary good. But if he lost his job,
he had to back up.
Well, first of all, he performs so well at his job because he don't give a fuck. It's a different attitude when you walk in your boss's office and he know you could quit. He got to treat you differently.
Yeah, differently, yeah.
When the boss know you need this job, he abuses you. Like, oh, this nigga ain't going nowhere. I could pay him whatever I want. What he gonna do? He's scared to quit. He like this. He need this job. But when you a nigga who don't need the job, your swag in the office is completely different.
Yeah,
the way you talk
different.
to your boss is completely yeah. Your boss start talking funny. You like, yo, who you talking to, yo? I'm a grown ass man. Like, who you talking to? I'll walk out this bitch right now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a different, and it's not saying that you want to quit or you are aspiring to quit. It's just that when you got fuck you money, you have power and you have sovereignty and your boss can't treat you like shit. So when you go in the office and like, yo, I'm gonna need a $2 raise. He be like, all right, no doubt. He might try to negotiate. Like, okay, you do $1.50? All right, fine, $1.50. Fuck it. Sign the papers. Let's do it. But when you know,
I've been in a situation like that a while back where I was working at a job and they hired somebody new. I was there for like 2 years, 2-3 years. They hired somebody new. He was getting paid more than me. So I go to the boss and I said, can I get a raise? Because it's not fair. I've been here longer. He sat there and just bullshit me in my face. Like, yeah, I'll take care of that. 6 months later, same shit. I quit. I just left.
Yeah. But you got to be in his neck. Like, look, no, like, I need it now. Do not be afraid to talk. Yo, these people are human beings just like you. You got to nip these bosses in the bud. The first time a boss talk to you any type of way, you got to be like, yo, I need 5 minutes with you in the office. Yeah, you know that shit you did earlier? That shit's not going to fly over here, yo. Say it in a very professional manner, but yeah, it's not going to fly. I don't appreciate that. Just cool out, yo. We can have a great time. I work for you and, money's good. I like working here. It's all good. Just don't talk to me like that. I'm not your son. You know what I mean? You gotta nip
keep it professional. Yeah.
You gotta keep it professional and keep it professional with your coworkers. And don't be afraid to ask for that raise. Ask for the raise. The moment that shit cross your mind before you're supposed to get it. Like, yo, boss, I'm gonna think about a raise. Ask him 5 minutes. Don't say it in front of the other workers. You gotta say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta pull him to the office. Yeah.
Yeah. I need 5 minutes with you. What you talking about? I just want to talk about my paycheck. Oh, okay. First thing he thinking payroll fucked up. So he going to be on air, right? You going in like, yeah, it's not enough money I'm getting over here, whatever that conversation is. I would suggest watching maybe 6 hours of video on how to ask for a raise. Don't do it how I'm telling you right now. I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah.
But, pull them to the side before you need the raise, before you even want the raise. Just to see what the niggas say. Like, well, you only been here 6 months at your 7th month. Oh, all right. Oh, that's when 7 months. Even if they told you an orientation, ask for that shit 6 months early. Just to keep him on his toes, let him know, like, nah, nigga, because what happened is 12 months to come around, you be looking at your check like, yo, I ain't never get that raise.
Mm-hmm.
So now you ask for the check. You on month 14 before he even put the thing on there. You got to ask at month 8 when it's month 12. And in month 9, you got to be, yo, I can't wait to get that raise. 2 more months. You got to be in their face, Get what you want.
Yeah. What advice would you give, because I'm in my 20s still, and you guys are older than me. You got 1 in 30, and you're in the 40s. So, for somebody in my age group, 20s, going to school, going to work, what advice would you give us? Because there's not a lot of,
break up with your friends.
Break up with your friends?
Break up with your friends, all of them. Every last one. Your best homie that you knew since 2nd grade, fuck him. Fuck not all even, them niggas.
Not even if one of them is like entrepreneur like you, like he got his own thing on, like a clothing line, and
that's your new best friend. That's your new best friend. If your best friends ain't on the same page and moving forward, or if you're that best friend that's not moving forward, let that nigga go. Don't pull that nigga away from his focus. Let that nigga go, or support his focus. If you see a brother that's doing it, be like, yo, you know, I got an extra $100. Can I like chip in on your brand? You know, I'm just throwing $100 in. I don't know what it's going to do for you, but I want to invest. You know, like it's got to be like that. Our relationships have to be business relationships. They have to be healthy relationships. Maybe it's not business. Maybe it's cultural. You know, this person is into the church, or, you know, or meditation or working out. These things are healthy, right? Meditation and yoga. If it's healthy, then do it. But when you got friends that's bullshitting and drinking alcohol and chasing girls all the time, those the cats you got cut off. You know, I remember.
You know, crazy that you just said that. I used to be with a group of friends, like a group of like guys, and I don't smoke, but I used to be around them all the time because I had nothing better to do. I was young. Like after high school, you're about to start college. You're partying all the time, and you drink. I drink a little bit, so I used to be around them, and all they do is smoke. And we used to talk about money. We talk about our future. As I got older, I was the only one doing what we were talking about. Exactly. And now I look back at it, I'm like, damn, I don't even have time to even go over there to the house and just talk shit or talk about girls and stuff like that. I'm so busy doing some other things.
Fuck them. What you do is that's one of them going to be your security guard. Another one's going to be your driver. You know, eventually you reach back and you pull them up. They're going to need an opportunity, and you going, you know, that's your cuz, that's blood. But sometimes you can't help blood out right away. Sometimes you got to get yourself off the ground, like I said, so you could put a nigga on his feet, right? So you can say, nigga, be like, oh, you making all this money, da, da, da. How you going to help me? I'm like, nigga, you need a job? How much you want to get paid? I can put you on the books right now, nigga. Shut the fuck up.
Some niggas end up hating, though. You see, you know, people say, hey, you see what happened to Nipsey.
That's why you cut him off. You know, you cut him off, you know. But, you know, that's why I say, you know, like, I remember when I was young, I had my record label. And we used to get high and freestyle in the car. And we, all three of us, had a passion for music. And I was always the one really doing all the work. But it was my one friend. I grew up with him, you know, and he had another friend. And him and that friend would chase girls. Like, I'd be like, yo, I would hit my friend. I'd be like, yo, studio time Saturday. I let him know like Wednesday. Fuck it, let you know last minute is business. Like, it comes over girls. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll let him know. I'm like, yo, we got studio this weekend. All right, no doubt, I'm going to be there. All right. I go pull up at his crib. His mans is there. I already know what time it is. What y'all about to do? Oh, we about to go see these bitches. All right, no doubt. Just give me the studio money. I'll go. You know what I mean? Because he not even going to have the heart to tell me he not coming. He just going to wait to the last minute. Because I've been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Where we about to peel out and I hop in the whip. I'm like, all right, I'll meet you there. He like, oh, nah, we about to go out with the girls. My bad, I forgot to tell you. And nigga, you had me sitting here all this time waiting for you, and you was going to hang out with girls, right? So I used to just take the bread and go do the work myself. But then when it came down to making decisions, he wanted to be, you know, being like, why'd y'all do this? Or why'd y'all do this? Nigga, where was you at? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just give me the money and let me handle it because you're not doing shit. So that's why you got to cut them niggas off early. You know what I mean? I wasted a lot of time with a lot of people. I'd be a million times further had I focused on getting my shit right instead of focusing on trying to help niggas that ain't trying to help themselves.
You know what they say? You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
You got to do the knowledge. You got to become a geek. You got to be a geek, man. I'm a geek. All I do is study and read and shit and research and learn. You know, I'm a fucking geek. I don't got time. Like I cut the Netflix on last night, watched the movie with Shorty. That's the only time I really have some downtimes when I'm laying in bed with my Shorty. You dig me?
How do you find balance? That's another question I wanted to bring up with your relationship and your kids and everything.
I just make time for it. It goes into the schedule just like everything else goes in the schedule. I know at a certain time, it's time to go over the math with the kids. It's time to remind them to do their coding. It's time to remind them to do their workout. Then I go out with the boys at the park and we go play and we work on their sports. You know what I mean? And then at night, I make sure I got some time with the lady. You know, and it's just your life is what you make time for. You know, we all got the same 24 hours. You make time for it. Some people don't make time for certain things, and that's why those things fade. I just make time for things.
Yeah. I was at a strip club one time, and a girl came up to me. You know those girls that come to you trying to make money, lap dance and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's another girl in there, and she was trying to give me a massage. So she was just asking me, like, what do I do? And, like, what's my goals and, like, inspiration? So I'm talking to her, and she could tell that I have, like, an entrepreneur mindset, and I'm an entrepreneur. And she was like, the first thing she said was, because she's older than me, she was like, if you have a girlfriend, break up with her, or if you don't have a girlfriend, don't have a girlfriend, because that's a distraction. What's your thought on that?
Absolutely, yeah. If she ain't an asset, she a liability. You know, I say it in my book, Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity. Don't have no woman. That's the last thing you want. Like, rule number 1 in masculinity, fuck these bitches. They ain't doing shit unless you run across a gym, right? Somebody who, like, you know, they be like, oh, I could do the accounting books for you, or I could, you know, do the website, or she got her own thing popping, right? And she shaking and moving, and y'all could just feed off each other like some Jay-Z and Beyonce relationship. But when you with, you know, somebody that's lazy or don't got their own shit, or if you with a wage earner that's not trying to support what you doing, then it's just like, you know, you with a liability. You need to get with an asset. You know what I mean? So you got to judge, like, is this woman going to be an asset? And I think the best way to do that is to just start off as friends and see how these people make you feel. See, do they care about you, or does she just want your time? A lot of women just want to occupy your time. They just want to sit on the phone and listen to silence and just know that they got your attention, right? Or they want your money. They want you to take them out. They want you to entertain them. I'm not no clown. I'm not here to entertain you, right? So, like, a lot of us is entertaining women, and it's like, how's that relationship being reciprocated? If that relationship isn't reciprocated, like, if she ain't coming by like, yo, you know, I stopped at Tasty Sub Shop on the way home, I got you a sub, you know, just as a friend. Or if she out at the mall and she don't hit you like, yo, I'm in a spot, do you need anything? Like, these are little things. Regular friends, your friend on the way to your house, is he saying, yo, I'm on my way, you need something? If you don't got them type of friends, you ain't got to. If you on the way to my house, ask me if I need something, because I'm going to do the same for you. You know what I mean? Or I show up at my friend's house, I show up with gifts. You know, like, so if I do that with my homies, a woman damn sure should be doing that shit for you. You ain't popping up with no cupcakes or nothing. You ain't coming by the crib and you ain't cooking. You ain't, like, what do you, like, how do you add value to my life? This is the relation, but this goes beyond women. This is all people. How do you add value to my life? And if people aren't adding value to their life, you got to cut them off. You know what I mean?
This goes back to what you said. I heard you say this. I think it was with Joe Rogan. You saying that that a consumer should be with a consumer and an independent should be with an independent. So if somebody, if somebody wants a business and then the girl wants a Lamborghini, it's not going to work.
Not unless she want to work for it, or she want to help you work for it. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to think like Gucci Mane. Like, when Gucci was locked up, his woman was running the business for him. So when he came home to millions, right? Or do you got a chick that when you get locked up, she gonna be messing with your homie, or, you know, like, let your empire die, right? Like,
that's the story that you usually hear. Now what she did was kind of like, damn, that's wifey material.
That's what you need. You need a woman that's gonna hold you down. But I'm sure Gucci knew that. That's why that was his woman. Like, he knew this was a down chick, because she probably was like, yo, is you hungry? You need something? Like, is you all right? You know, like, they got to care about you as an individual. It goes beyond gender. They got to care about you as an individual. And if the people care about you, you know, that's a dope relationship that you in.
Yeah, that's so true. Like what you said on that topic, Hotep, as far as like having independent with independent, like you were saying, like, you know, you got consumers, like the women want to be consumers, or you know, vice versa. Anybody can be independent, but now you're working, like you said, you're working, and then she just wants to, she or whoever the significant other is just buying stuff with the money that you're hard earned. It's not building it together, and now that can bring you down in the long run. In the long run, you can miss out on a lot of opportunities because the money was spent that way to try to please somebody. And yeah, it's a lot of crazy.
Stack your chicken, man. Don't give it to these birds. Stack your chicken. Don't give it to these birds. You know what I mean? That's how you get bird flu. You know what I mean? That's what it's about, man. Stacking your chicken, and then knowing how to invest. But I wouldn't mess with any. That's why people ask me like women. I'm like, nigga, what type of people do you have around you? Forget women. If you understand what type of people to have around you, you would attract the right women, because you would only deal with a certain type of caliber of individual. Like I only deal with certain type of caliber individuals. I don't care how many times you hit my jack. If you're not a certain caliber individual, you probably not even going to be able to keep my attention. Like, what do you give to the world? What are your aspirations? What are your dreams? Is networking with me help me? Or can I network with you and help you? Because if you might not even be on top. Like, for example, like I shouldn't even be doing this podcast because, you know what I mean? I got a certain level of celebrity, but I'm not looking at it like some of these other motherfuckers with 100K Twitter followers, right? I'm not looking at numbers. I'm looking and saying, these are some young black brothers. I got to do their podcast. If I do the white man podcast, right? Because they got all the views. I got to do my brothers. Fuck the views. I still got to speak to my people. They requested my energy. Who am I to turn down the request of my tribe's energy? Because they don't have enough views. How do you get the views unless I come?
Yeah, I appreciate you coming too, man. I wanted to tell you that too. Yeah, because most people wouldn't do what you do, bro. Like they would have been looking at us and be like, okay, not yet. Wait till they get bigger or something. They'll come on or something like that.
I do that to people, but y'all approach me properly, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, are you ready? What caliber, right? And I don't remember how y'all approached me, but y'all approached me professionally. It got scheduled and in my calendar, timely. I did it. Y'all was professional about it. I looked at the views. I'm like, I don't care about the views. These is black brothers that's trying to come up. And how do they come up unless somebody who has some type of celebrity appears on their podcast and then gives them fire content? You know what I mean? Like,
we appreciate it, man.
Normally a nigga be like, if you was in the rap game, nigga be like, yo, throw me 500 to come on. Like 500 get on my mixtape. This is how we rape each other. Right? This is how we, instead of just saying, look, I like your talent, come get on my mixtape because you got good talent. Not because, so Ordem will say, oh, this guy's got more talent than you, but because you had the 500, I'm gonna put you on the mixtape because instead of him, right? This is how the rap game works. You got to pay the players, payola all the way around. We could do the same thing with the podcast game, but that's foul. That's not how we come up. I'm going to get my views and I'm going to get my money regardless, no matter who podcast I show up on. I'm going to get mine because I've been getting mine.
Yeah.
Why do you think the system is like that, though? Like the system of like people helping each other like that when you get to a certain level?
It's like the drug game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You can get a lot of money selling drugs. Don't make it right. But sometimes the ends justify the means. So you looking at a nigga like, I got this mixtape, right? And I need to push this mixtape. Well, I really don't want to dip into my own cash to promote this. But if I charge people for the feature, that means they're investing in themselves and they need to invest in themselves. But then I can take that money and push it and use it to market this mixtape. Right? So there's two ways to look at this. It don't gotta be foul, right? It could be, I just need money to push this mixtape. And if you really believe in yourself, blah, 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 I'll use this money to push the mixtape. But I hope they're doing that. I hope they're using that money to push that mixtape after they take your 500. So somebody can actually hear me, and I think some of them are, but sometimes when a payola system's set up, it's kind of hard to say no to the money.
Yeah, just like the Halle Berry thing. Did you see how she pulled out of that movie, that transgender thing, the movie she was supposed to do? I didn't really see the whole information on that. I just seen like on the Shade Room how they say that she's pulling out of the movie because of backlash. Did you read on that, Clark, or no?
No, I ain't heard about that.
I saw it a little bit, but I mean, I didn't really read into it.
Yeah, it's recent. Let me see if I can pull it up.
You charge, let's say you got 20 tracks in the mixtape and you charge 20 artists. It's $10,000 at $500 a piece. You know what I mean? So the game, I mean, is the mean, like I said, the end sometimes justify the means. So if I get a $10K for charging these artists and the market and demand is there, You know, where I know I could fill his mixtape roster and get this quick 10K in a month. Like 10K in a month is not bad for a streamer income. So you can't really blame him.
So it says that she apologized after discussing the role because she now understands that she should not consider this role and that the transgender community should have the opportunity to tell their own stories.
All right. So she wants somebody that's trans to actually be a trans person in the movie.
Yeah, I guess it's people felt offended because she's not transgender. How can she know what's going through in their life if she's not transgender, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds fair. That's what they, that's what they want. That's what they should get. I think everybody needs to be comfortable with their likeness. The black problem is black people allow whiteness to control our likeness. You heard that? We allow whiteness to control our likeness. Our likeness is our image and our brand, how you're portrayed. And when you allow people to portray you in the media, for example, when we talk about China, you know that before we send movies over to China, they got to get edited for the China crowd because China has certain laws against some of the content we put out.
I heard China runs the movies pretty much. They like if you have something that they feel offended, they make sure that it's scrapped. They can't even push it out.
You're not allowed to portray a Chinese man as a thief.
Yeah, you can't. They run to Hollywood. I heard
they're invested, but they should. Like we need to have that same concern about our likeness. When the Irish changed their perception, Irish were fraternizing with black folks and in the jazz clubs and dancing with black folks. Well, what they did was they started playing respectability politics. And they said, look, let's move to the boardroom and let's use our newspapers to applaud people that are in the boardrooms instead of the people that are in the bars dancing. And that's how they change their likeness and they become considered white. And I think a lot of people can learn from that. Distinguished people get distinguished respect. If you're a rapper, people ain't going to respect you for being a rapper. But when you create Tesla, people got to respect you as somebody who's doing something that nobody else can do. Yeah. Anybody can fucking rap.
Let's not forget about these people, Breonna Taylor and Vanessa Gillum, because nobody's like talking about like what's going on with Breonna Taylor's like killers. Like nobody's like there's not enough like it's like people forgot about her.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do after we find out and we put the killers in jail? What are we gonna do? It's like asking what's the cure for cancer instead of saying how do we get cancer in the first place?
Yep, exactly.
Right? We can talk about how we're gonna cure cancer, but we can have preventative measures and talk about how we never get it in the first place and we don't need a cure. How about we prevent that from happening the next time so we don't have to have, think about our memorial of names. Looks like a Vietnam memorial wall of dead soldiers. Names for days. They got fences. They put people's names on posters. They hang them up on fences. We could decorate walls with our dead. I think we just kind of like decorating our walls with dead people. I think that's what we like to do. We like to go, look, another one. So we can walk around with dead people's names on our shirts. You ever seen that before?
Yeah, I see it a lot.
We see, and so we selling each other.
They put on their necklace too.
Dead Gold people's necklace. Names, right? A cemetery. We're like a professional cemetery where we glorify the dead. Why don't we glorify people that's alive? Why don't we give people their flowers while they're still here? If we supported one another before that, we could prevent crazy things from happening. Maybe that sister doesn't have to go into the military to find her way, where she was drastically raped in the military. And that's disgusting how they killed her.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy, man. I couldn't even believe it. Like, I think one of the killers actually, they off themselves, but even after that, it's just the thought of what they did is premeditated. It's like you said, it's like, what are we gonna do after that to prevent that? Like you said, with cure for cancer, how are we gonna do that?
Niggas just taking a body count, Niggas is just counting bodies at this point. I'm tired of counting bodies. It's really sad to be counting bodies.
Exactly. So what do you think we should do to fix all this?
Exactly. Learn. Shut up and code. It's right here on my shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody, like I had an interview last night with Young Pharaoh, and I said, "What language should Black people learn to speak?" And he said, "Silence." And that hit home because, like I said, shut up and code. Y'all niggas talk too much. Niggas talk way too fucking much. Everybody got a fucking opinion. If you go look at my latest content, you don't see me making content for the Black community. I didn't say everything I needed to say to the Black community. I warned y'all about Black Lives Matter in 2015. I warned y'all about Sean King in 2015. I've been exposed to these people. Y'all told me I was hating.
Sean King?
I exposed Sean King in 2015. Like, this shit is old. You go look at the tweets. It's 2015 I exposed this character. This is before Trump comes into office. I exposed these characters. Type in, Hotep Jesus exposes Sean King. It's
I'm
right
gonna look
there.
at that.
It's right there.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So
I was in Miami when I did that.
So you don't think Sean King is doing it for? You think he's doing it for?
He count bodies. He a body counter. He a body counter. The other day, they caught him stealing somebody else's historical work. He said, "I got a degree in history. All these people with red dots on their face are slave owners." Then the dude that actually created the graphic was like, "Yo, can I get some credit? Because I was the one that did the research to verify all these people." But he taking credit for other people's work. Like, how many times does this dude have to be exposed? Before, even DeRay McKesson exposed him. His own last organization he had exposed him. Like, how many times we gotta expose this dude till people wake up, right?
Yeah.
But I'm done talking. Like, talk is cheap. Talk don't cook rice. That's a chapter in my book on masculinity, Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity. Talk don't cook rice. You got to start putting your recipes together. Turn the thing on, you know what I'm saying? You need just some action. Get your recipe and start cooking. Everybody here want to talk. Oh, hands up, don't shoot. Black lives don't matter. Black lives matter. Then y'all want to fucking go and protest in the streets. Why don't thousands of y'all fucking come together and put together a weekend community center? Or why don't y'all put time in at night with the kids? The kids leave school, right? It's summertime now. What do kids got to do? Parents can't afford summer camp. Any free summer camp might not be worth it. Are y'all donating to summer camps? Are y'all volunteering at summer camps in droves? Y'all volunteering to go protest because it looked good for Instagram, because you could pose with your fist up and get you some likes. This is what I call narcissistic activism. It's like, y'all not doing this shit because y'all care. Y'all doing this shit because it's cute, because you can get some clout. Y'all clout chasing. If you really care about the Black community, you will be volunteering with the kids. I'm a volunteer coach. When I see my kids from sports, the next year I had a kid, I wasn't his coach for I think I had him when he was 6. Last year I saw the boy, he about 9 now. He came up to me, he said, "Hey coach, you remember me?" I said, "Oh shit, Bigfoot." Because that was his nickname. And his mom said, "See, I knew he'd remember you." Like, the kids remember me. They remember Coach Brian because I love the kids, and that's where I put my time at. And I'm great with kids, and I understand how to teach them, and I understand how to give them confidence. That's what a lot of kids lack, is confidence. So I put my time in with my kids. I put my time in with other people's kids. Like, are we putting our time in the community?
I agree.
We're not doing that. We marching in the streets. No, I need y'all to go call the summer camps this summer and say, "Do y'all need volunteers? I'm coming down. I could teach arts and crafts. I'm coming down. I could teach weave. I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm coming down, teach you how to make a wig. I'm coming down and I'm teaching you some shit, teaching you how to pull apart this carburetor. Come down and show the kids what you do." Hotep Nation gonna be starting coding camps as soon as COVID subsides. That's what we need to be at. Volunteer, and if you don't got the time, invest in these communities. There's kids that after school, they ain't got nothing to do. Who's at the community center volunteering their time with the kids? Who's doing that on weekends when there is no school? Kids ain't got no choice but to run the streets. Some of them don't want to be at home. They want to be playing with other kids.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in the streets looking at dead bodies or hanging with the homies. Right? Kid 13, he on the block. when really he just want to play table tennis or something, or basketball. He want to shoot hoops or record music. Like, who gonna put that time in? Maybe he want to learn chess.
Do you agree that they should defund the police and just focus on the kids?
I believe we need to defund everything that the government funds. Defund it all. Defund public school. I'll read you something right now. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Do y'all know when they integrated schools? You remember that court case?
Court case? No, I'm not familiar with it.
There was a famous court case where they desegregated public schools to let black kids in the public schools. Y'all remember that though, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I forgot
right.
the case name. Yeah.
As Brown versus the Board of Education.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh.
Now, let me tell you what one of the lines in Brown versus Board of Education says. It says, today, education is required in the performance of our most basic public responsibilities, even service in the armed forces.
Mm.
It is the very foundation of good citizenship. Today, it is a principal instrument in awakening the child to cultural values, in preparing him for later professional training, and in helping him to adjust normally to his environment. I'll tell you the two things that pop out of my mind first. Adjust to your normal environment is the opposite of controlling your environment.
That was the first thing that came in my head.
When it says awakening the child to cultural values, whose cultural values are we talking about? You're integrating them into a school that is going to take on the European cultural values and not the cultural values of the Black or the African. So when we talk about integration of schools, this was actually the colonization of the mind. Segregation was infiltration.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah. The
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's deep. And you put me on. So I'm about to go do my own research on a couple topics that we talked about and educate myself even further.
Yeah, there's a lot I wanted to say, man. Cause I know, words are spells too, especially spelling and the English language. Cause we're like different. There are a whole bunch of different things that I wanted to get on. But yeah, I know we're getting towards the end. But there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk to you about Hotep, as far as like, cause I know you understand it. I know you know what I'm talking about. Like it's just like English language is the only language that says morning. We're the only language that doesn't say good day. They say Guten Tag in German, Buenos Dias in Spanish.
Buenos Dias.
Yeah, it's all curses and spells, man. And they know what they're doing, and they play a lot of wordplay when it comes to like what you just read, like adjusted environment. So that means they're saying we're not in control of our environment. Like they don't want us to control, like you just said. It's
Orwellian.
So much. Yeah.
You're talking about Orwellian. See, in order to control the mind, you first got to control the language.
Mm-hmm.
You control the language, I can limit how you express your thoughts. You can only express your thoughts in what that language allows, what it gives you words for. Let me play a game before we leave. Name as many words as you can that mean something good.
That's how they do it. It's harder to do that than all right, but yeah, already. Yeah, but
go ahead.
It is good.
Got good.
Good, positive.
Awesome.
Happy. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, see that's good that you said that. That's smart. That's smart.
All right, now name negative ones.
Oh man, it's easy.
Bitch.
All that.
You see how easy that was?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. How is it that we're not able to express ourselves in a manner that is like serendipity? The root word of that is serene. There's so many other words that are much more pernicious and damaging, right? You go all day with bad words, but good words they're harder to recall. It's like that for a reason.
Like what you call it, like B.O.B. He came out with it, and then he had to delete some stuff, and then now it's back on. But I heard him say this. He said, you wake up, you say good morning. I'm not mourning anybody. Then he's like, you go to work, you earn money, but you put ashes in the urn. You know what I'm saying? So people are like, oh, and then by the weekend, you're weak by the end of the week. And then there were a few other things too, but it's like so much behind it that people just don't understand, and that they don't understand that other languages don't use these terms. Even in their language, they don't use these terms. Because people are like, oh, it's the English thing. I'm like, no, it's much deeper. You're saying something and you're speaking into an existence and a certain frequency. Like a lot of what you call that? I was listening to Billy Carson. You know Billy Carson, one of his speeches, Forbidden Knowledge. Yeah, and he was talking about
Wait, Billy Carson. You had me thinking Johnny Carson. Who's Billy Carson?
Oh no, Billy Carson. He's I don't know if you know the page Forbidden Knowledge, but
okay.
I was listening to him say something about what was it? Is it comedic science? Or no, it's not comedic science. It was it's basic. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot. But the way you're putting into the words and putting into existence, but not only that, it's as far as what you're thinking, it's just like when they, a lot of people think what they're thinking is only their idea, but somebody else is thinking that thought, or they're not thinking it yet. But if you don't act on it, they're going to take that idea and run with it. And people are going to be like, oh, they stole my idea. How did they find? No, I forgot what it's called. Man,
it's a shared consciousness.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh, I can't believe the name. I can't believe the name, man. The name, there's a name behind it.
Oh, you're talking about the Akashic Records.
I haven't heard of that, to be honest, man.
Okay.
But
Akashic Records? What is that?
It's man, I wish we got into this, like, because I'm into that, man.
The Akashic Records are everything that has happened exists in the cloud. Now, in the cloud, in tech, that means like on a server, right? But there's a spiritual cloud where all things that exist can be accessed and all thoughts can be accessed.
That's where I'm getting into this part too, with what Elon Musk said that caught my attention when he was talking about how do we know we're not living out our dreams right now? How do we know we're not living out a live version of our memories? Because it's funny, because we have deja vu, and to me, deja vu is a glitch in the matrix. But I'm not gonna get into that. It's like you already been there. So how is that possible? You already been there, and you're like, oh, I had a premonition, but everybody has it. So is it a glitch? What is it? And it's like synchronicity, like you said, like a cloud, a server. So it's like, to me, like synchronicity. When I see synchronicity, it's a message saying that this is going to happen at this time, or it's happening now. How you're feeling is exactly how you're supposed to feel. A lot of different things, man. But I'm into it, bro. Trust me. I know, I wish we got into it a lot earlier, but I see what you're saying. That's very. I didn't know.
I'm gonna get back on my esoteric studies. I took maybe the last 3 months off, but my esoteric studies are let's just say they're elite. They're elite. I got a lot of brushing up to do, but there's a lot to this world.
Yeah, man. There's
a lot to this world that I can't reveal. The
firmament, so forth. No, I'm not. Let me not get into that.
You can't present things for ears that aren't ready. Certain pieces of knowledge. In ancient Kemet, there were 12 chambers. In order to learn the science of the next chamber, you had to prove yourself and pass a test through the first few chambers. So before I divulge knowledge to people, got to remember that the enemy is watching, and your enemies are watching, and people who aren't worthy of this will take it and taint it and ruin it, right? So the knowledge has to be protected, and people have to be proven and that you can share this knowledge with them. But the knowledge isn't for the hoi polloi. The knowledge is for the Illuminati. Illuminati means the illuminated ones. So, I'm Illuminati, right? If you want to talk Illuminati, I'm technically Illuminati. Now people could take that however they want, but Illuminati literally translate into our enlightened ones. And we can't allow them to take that word from us. But I'm illuminated. And you can't spread that type of knowledge with dark souls.
And you know what's so funny about what you just said? It confirms how I was thinking earlier today. So I take that as a sign. Because I told somebody I'm done talking about all of this stuff. Done.
Gotta do it, yeah.
Done. So I know what you're talking about because it's a sign. I said that today. I'm telling you. I take that as a sign. I'm done. I'm done talking about it.
All you gotta do is watch the anime. All you gotta do is watch the anime.
Anime?
Yeah. They tell you how to do everything.
Anime like Naruto?
Crazy you said that.
Yep.
It's crazy you said that because it's a lot of people think it's just shows and stuff, but I was watching.
I love anime. I love anime.
That is so true. They do. Like I was watching Full Metal Alchemist. I was watching Full Metal Alchemist, and just in my mind, I was thinking about stuff. I was like, man, this is like Santeria or voodoo, but then also because you do something, but you gotta sacrifice something. Something has to be the universe needs something back. So
suppress everything.
Look at Hunter x Hunter. You ever watch Hunter x Hunter?
No, I didn't. But I'm about to add it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it then.
When you see how they recognize what type of power they have, pay attention to that episode. It's like when they go to the training facility, the competition facility.
I think I seen an episode of this before. I remember that guy.
That shit wicked. But
if
you pay attention to their training and shit like that and what they be saying, or Dragon Ball Z when they talking about how you focus your chi, like all that shit real.
You know what's so funny? It sounds crazy.
What about Bleach? You watch Bleach?
I've never gotten into Bleach.
That one with the souls and stuff, like different dimensions. But what's funny about it is Dragon Ball Z from back in the day used to be. Well, I know they have other things, but it used to be more fighting, and a lot of craziness. But when you watch Dragon Ball Super, there are so many hidden. You're like, okay, so this guy is supposed to be God, but how is he God when there's both of them? Because time doesn't affect God. So how are there two of them? So that must mean there's somebody above him that's not revealed yet. It's crazy. It goes, I'd be watching.
Dragon Ball Super was deep, man.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that. After Dragon Ball Z, I stopped. So I need to check that out.
Super got some gems in there. If you pay attention to Jiren, remember when Jiren sat down and meditated for like 30 episodes?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
He got up and he had mad power.
Yeah. He had all his ancestors. Let me not get into that. He had his ancestors to give him the power. But yeah, kind of the way they portray him is black. He's black. So
but he like a black alien,
but black. But yeah, it's a lot of crazy. I was like, man, I see what they're doing. And then the characters, the quote unquote gods, and what they were wearing, like the Egyptians, and each of them one of them was like the clown, one of them was. It goes deep, man. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, man. I watch it. I'm like, yo, because when I'm watching, I'm like, because most people just watching, like, me, I'm watching. I'm like, this character is that person. This one is, you know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing.
They had all the ancient Egyptian gods up there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yu-Gi-Oh too. You guys remember Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, Yu-Gi-Oh. I forgot about that.
That wasn't my age group.
Yeah, they did a lot of pharaohs and Egyptian gods. They did a lot of stuff in that too.
Yo, the people, you got to understand that the people that make these shows are into the occult. That's why they end up in those positions of power, because they're tapped into their spirit. The rest of y'all don't tap into y'all spirit. You don't tap into your soul. You are a soul. This body's just a vehicle. Like young Pharaoh said, you say, I'm hungry. No, your body's hungry. You are not your body. Your body needs fuel. You can't say, I'm hungry. Your soul don't need food. You are that soul. And if you ain't expressing your soul power, like I'll give you an example, right? Don't look at the clock. When you wake up first thing in the morning, I want you to ask yourself, what time is it? This is a very important step. You have to ask yourself, ask your subconscious, what time is it?
Oh, I got something on that, bro.
And
Go
then it's
ahead,
gonna
yeah,
say,
go ahead,
like,
man.
10 o'clock. You gotta lift up your phone and look, is it 10 o'clock? And that's when you know you start getting in tune with your inner self.
That's funny because I get that. I stopped doing that and I got it right. Like I'm like, oh, I know it's this time. I don't even look at the time. Then I look at the time like, yo. But like, you know, the other thing, I know it's an illusion. Time is man, I shouldn't even be talking about this, but yeah, like I told people, I said if we stop counting our birthdays, won't we live longer? Because we're just counting, we're making ourselves old thinking about time, thinking about our birthdays. So won't we live a lot longer if we didn't count our birthdays, didn't count the time, stop worrying about time? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like getting into that, you know, just I said that all the time. Like that's just my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? But you know, of course my thoughts aren't just my own, but yeah, I'm like, I always think stuff like that, man. I think outside the box. But yeah.
Yeah. Perception of age has a lot to do with how you age.
Yeah, how you feel too.
Yeah.
People ask me, they say, yo, how you look so young? I say, because at a young age, I told myself I would live forever. My body adapts to that mentality. I really truly believe I'm gonna live to 200.
I know what you're saying. And I know people are like, you know, but I know what you're saying because I'm starting to feel like that. I'm starting to feel like that. Like as far as with the spirit frequencies and so forth and going out there. But, you know, I'm not going to keep going, man. I know we got it. You know, everybody's, you know, we're chilling right now talking about stuff. This is stuff, you know, I did want to talk about earlier too. But
we could always do a part 2 later on, man. We could talk about more deeper spiritual things.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. You didn't have to come on. We appreciate you coming on. And thanks for the love and education.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. Keep grinding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
For the culture.